Welcome to The Sports Place, brought to you by Tour Productions. If you love sports and think you're right, then this is the place for you. The quarterback free agent market is filled with experienced quarterbacks and maybe the most interesting in years. The futures of household names like Jimmy Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford, Cam Newton, and Dak Prescott are all uncertain.
Today, our guest host is uniquely qualified to discuss quarterbacks since he strikes fear in the hearts of so many. He's a native of Washington, D.C., and the youngest of 5 children. He was a college football standout at the University of Maryland, go Terps, and played for the Chicago Bears, Kansas City Chiefs, and Pittsburgh Steelers. Most recently, he was the XFL's best defensive lineman and sack leader. He now works with inner city youth, encouraging them to make good choices. Please welcome my brother, Cavon Walker. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. It's a blessing to be here, man. Thanks for having me the first guest on the show. Man, let's get to work, man.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Okay, guys, Phillip Rivers has had a stellar career as an 8-time Pro Bowler and a former NFL Comeback Player of the Year, but never made it to the big dance. He's chosen to pack it up and call it quits. My question to you all is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Fame QB? Let's start with Cavon.
You can, in my opinion on it, I feel like Phillip Rivers is definitely a Hall of Fame quarterback. I feel like people always sum up great careers to being a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you can't discredit the numbers this man has put up. He's done it time and time again, and now he's done it for a different team, but it's not his Colts. He may not have made it to the Super Bowl. He may not have made those deep runs, but at the end of the day, he's always been one of the best quarterbacks in leagues. And you could ask anybody, and I'm a defensive lineman saying that, and we hate these guys, but Phillip Rivers, he does it consistently. He doesn't make many mistakes. He's a statue in the pocket. He doesn't run much, but at the end of the day, he gets the job done. I feel like he's definitely a Hall of Famer. First battle.
All right. So, you know I love my brother, but I have to disagree. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I'm right and he's wrong. First of all, Phillip Rivers. Now, again, Cavon is a great football player, but he's also a young man. And at his tender age, he doesn't remember those teams with Junior Seau, rest in peace. Those teams with LaDainian Tomlinson, and they still couldn't make it to the Super Bowl. Not even win it. Cam Newton's been to a Super Bowl. And don't mention, Joe Flacco, Chris Chandler, Neil O'Donnell, Rex Grossman. They've all been to Super Bowls. They've all had an accomplishment in their career that Phillip Rivers doesn't have. Now, also, Cavon is a little young. He may not remember when they had a player out there in San Diego, right? Quarterback. They traded him away because they believed in Phillip Rivers. Cavon, do you know who that quarterback was?
Brett Favre?
No. Oh, man. Drew Brees.
Ah, yes, that's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant, honestly.
Now, let me tell you something. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. Drew Brees has won a Super Bowl. Drew Brees has made several deep runs in the playoffs. Phillip Rivers has not. And Phillip Rivers, he had those teams. Those were the teams that were favored every year. Every year it was the San Diego Chargers. And he couldn't get it done. Now, you can't tell me that he's a Hall of Fame quarterback if you're not going to make Donovan McNabb a Hall of Fame quarterback. If you're not going to make – Donovan McNabb made a Super Bowl. If you're not Donovan McNabb a Hall of Fame quarterback. If you're not going to say – because you can't have a bunch of quarterbacks. I understand that it was the era of the quarterback, but you got your Peyton Manning, right? You got your Drew Brees. You probably had to put Roethlisberger in there. You got the great one, Brady. Are you really going to put Phillip Rivers in there? You got to put Eli Manning, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely feel where you're coming from. But a lot of those teams you mentioned, those seasons that they went those deep runs, their defense was literally probably top 3. Quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. Defense does. Everybody knows defense wins
I think it's a little bias here.
I'm telling you, defense wins championships. So if you can't have somebody that out there on that defensive side of the ball that's demanding the offense to get the ball back, it's going to be hard to make those runs sometimes. But also, I do feel you got to throw those Eli Mannings and definitely Donovan McNabb. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Also one of the best black quarterbacks of all time. We got to point that out too. But you got to know, as a black quarterback, you're not gonna get those same respects as the others out there. And everybody knows that. But at the same time, with Phillip Rivers, you can't discredit the things that he's done and the teams that he's beat. Even though he hasn't went that deep in the playoffs, won this championship, you gotta realize that the numbers he's put up is a lot. It's better than the numbers he put up this year is better than some of the young guys that's been out there. And they've been doing it for 3 years, 4 years. This man's 40 years old? Probably older than 40, 43, 44. He's old as hell, and he did his thing. He went to the Colts and took Jacoby Brissett's job, who was a great quarterback who they had last year. Didn't need to change it out, but they chose to put Phillip Rivers in that role because they entrusted him to take him further. Brissett wasn't doing anything wrong. He was doing everything. He had that arm, and he could run. Phillip ain't running nowhere. But they entrusted Phillip because of what he's done in the past. And they gave him that standard to take them to the big run. They went to the playoffs this year. They didn't make it far, but
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be one and done, yeah, I mean, we're going one and done. And I do want to ask you a question about that. Since you brought up race, and I see Erika's face, but since you brought up race, Erika's not afraid to talk about race. But since you brought that up, I just do want to ask, do you think that that's still the case with black quarterbacks, being that the top 5 quarterbacks, probably top 5 out of 6 are black, or top 4 out of 5 are black, when we're talking about, somebody you played with, Patrick Mahomes, we talk about Russell Wilson, we're talking about Deshaun Watson, and we're talking my man Jackson up there in Baltimore. And I feel you that defense wins championships. And that's one of my points about Phillip Rivers. He had a defense. He had Junior Seau. He had an incredible defense.
You naming one guy, though.
The whole defense was stout, though.
When you said Flacco, I was like, automatically. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. They D-line are made, you got it, you can hit Junior Seau, you probably say Sean Merriman. But you can't say who they have in the secondary. Can you name a top DB that they had?
I can't,
during their runs. You can't really name nobody that was top in their secondary. You can say Junior Seau, you can say Sean Merriman, you can say LT on the offensive side. But who did he really have to help him? What was his receivers?
I know he had some. I don't remember. I got to go back and look. But I know he had decent receivers. He had the tools around him.
He had Antonio Gates, too, as well.
Right.
Probably one of the best tight ends of all time.
Exactly. I mean, basically, every quarterback needs a tight end. And that goes into,
that's a blanket right there.
Brady. When was the last time you saw Brady not have a decent to a great tight end? Every year Brady had a tight end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You look at Patrick Mahomes, what he's doing now, the best tight end.
Best tight end. Kittle was in the close, but Kittle is not, he's not doing nothing that Travis is doing. Let me put that right there. People always say Kittle and Travis. It's Travis. There is no Kittle and Travis. It's just Travis. I say that. It's Travis.
Absolutely.
But you're saying about the black quarterbacks, it can seem it has changed because there are many black starting quarterbacks now. But at the end of the day, you can't take away the numbers that they're putting up. You can't do anything to them unless they're not producing consistently.
Right.
Back in the day, it was way like Vic. We go back to Vic. The Vic situation, yeah, he did some things outside of the game that were terrible. Let's say terrible. He did things that were terrible.
Erika is a dog lover, so we're not going to talk.
I am a dog here right now. I'm a dog lover as well. I got a pit bull in here actually too. So,
Same.
But you go back to that. You had guys that were not black that committed more or accused of more heinous crimes, and they never dealt with the same things he dealt with, the blackballing and all those things like that. But when you think now, it's still the same thing. Because look at Lamar Jackson. You're not just a quarterback. Jalen Hurts, you're not just a quarterback. They don't want you to be a quarterback. You're too athletic to be a quarterback. When have they ever told Josh Allen he's too athletic to be a quarterback?
Taysom Hill.
Or,
you know what I'm saying?
huh?
Taysom Hill. He should be a runner.
They don't say it about him.
Yeah, there's no way he should be a quarterback, in my opinion.
He plays quarterback, kick return, kickoff coverage, but you don't hear that when it comes to white quarterbacks. You don't hear they should play another position coming out of college. I've never heard it, in my opinion. Even Trace McSorley, he played the white quarterback from Penn State. He was a great guy in college. He was probably about 5'10". They didn't tell him to change positions or nothing like that. Remember Shoelace from Michigan?
Yeah.
He came in, made him play running back. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football at this time. But you don't see that same stigma for the white quarterback.
So I think the one argument that people will make against that is Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman was a college quarterback at Kent State, and now he's a slot. You know.
So was Joshua Cribbs, was a college quarterback at Kent State. Broke every passing record and every rushing record there. But what did he come in the league as? A return specialist. How? How? And you can say, I can see Edelman changing. Because Edelman's like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
And probably like $180 soaking wet, maybe $190. But you see Lamar Jackson's 6'2", 6'3", 180 pounds, runs out the water. Jalen Hurts 6'2", 210, runs out the water and can throw. You don't see them saying it about these white quarterbacks. And I'm not biased either way it goes, but at the end of the day, if a person can play and throw that ball, that's what he should be doing. If he decides to change position, that's what he should do. But don't put the stigma on him, because at the end of the day, that put more fuel to the fire to prove everybody wrong.
Okay.
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt because I love where this is going, but we are limited on time. So I want to go back to Deshaun Watson. So where do you think Deshaun Watson goes? He's indicated that he may want to trade after a disappointing year, but that's no fault of his own. So what do you say?
Can I take the lead in this one, Jason?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so in my opinion, I feel like the true best fit for Deshaun and the way he plays is the Washington Redskins.
I didn't know you were going to say that.
I'm not a Washington Redskins, a Washington football team fan anymore. I haven't been since I left college. Years of disappointment down the line, and I made this just a business for me. I don't have any team that I would like anymore, but I just see him as being the best fit. The past 2 years, the football team has a quarterback. They need a quarterback that can run and pass. Dwayne Haskins is not a runner. He sits in the pocket, he throws. Dwayne Haskins is an old school quarterback. He'll sit in the pocket, he'll give him a good old line, he'll pick you apart. Alex Smith is what they thought they was gonna have, but he's not the same anymore. He doesn't run anymore. He can't run anymore. If they have Deshaun Watson in that offense, I'm telling you, they're gonna explode. McLaurin, what's that tight end they got? That big old tight end they got? They can be really good if Deshaun comes and fits in that system. I feel like he fits that system perfectly. But let's see what you got to say.
So I think there's, number one, a great quarterback will fit anywhere. And I think that Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. I think any team that doesn't already have like a top 5 or top 8 quarterback should want to get Deshaun Watson. I think that he could move within the state of Texas. I think that could be very interesting if he goes over to the Dallas Cowboys. We don't know what they're going to do about Dak Prescott.
But you think they would do that to Dak?
I think they would do anything. This is Jerry Jones we're talking about.
Very true. One of the most ruthless owners out there. Very true.
He doesn't care about nobody. He's not.
At the end of the day, it is business. It is business. That's very true.
I think Chicago, I think that everything that they wanted Mitch Trubisky to be, you know what I mean, Deshaun Watson can be. And it can make up for all of those pissed off Chicago fans when they saw Mitchell Trubisky, on draft night when Deshaun Watson was still out there, and so was Patrick Mahomes. And they went with Mitchell Trubisky. I think this could be their mulligan. This could be their opportunity to say to their fans, we're serious about winning. Mitchell Trubisky isn't the guy. We got the guy we should have gotten on that draft night. So I think Chicago.
Right their wrongs.
Exactly. I think Chicago
I can see that.
place for him. I think he could go to the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly, we have to see what Philadelphia is going to do. I mean, people are saying that Jalen Hurts is the answer. I'm not certain. We'll have to see. I really like Jalen Hurts, but if you give me an opportunity to get Deshaun Watson or stick with Jalen Hurts, I think with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Deshaun, like you said, Deshaun is a great fit for any team. He's a quarterback that can switch it up. He can do what he needs to do. And in that pocket, he is calm, composed, and he can take a hit. I know you've seen some of the hits he's taken in the past years and bouncing off and throwing touchdown passes. Like he's amazing to watch. So send him a different uniform would be crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited to see what they do with or where he goes. People are saying that he may go to Miami, which doesn't make sense to me. I got to give Tua a chance, and also shout out to Tua because his brother is actually part of the Terp family now.
Yes, sir. Tulia.